ready to continue discussing the topics for today. Just a little recap. We've spoken already about the first batch of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccination, which has arrived in the UK today, literally an hour ago, and that will be stored in a sort of top secret location before being rolled out next week in the first settings, which is likely to be in hospital due to the need to store the vaccine at minus 70 degrees. Now, what we were just moving on to was a discussion about diabetes burnout. And Jade, your description was quite a good one. So just in case people missed it, could you just repeat that? How would you describe diabetes burnout?
As the worst hangover ever. It's like, when you've just drank way too much the night before, you've gone really silly, and you wake up and everything is an effort. Like going to the toilet is an effort. Everything's an effort. With diabetes burnout, it's like that. It's just like, it's a hangover. It's like the worst hangover that lasts for days and days, sometimes weeks, sometimes months. Yeah, a really bad hangover. That's how I describe it.
And I think the thing with diabetes burnout especially is that it's a breaking point for many people, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, it's a moment of collapse. Like when you go through traumatic things, like diabetes is a traumatic event, like being diagnosed, for example. And when you go through stuff like that, people have this kind of fight or flight response to things, but then you get to, sometimes it's just a collapse response. And that's how I describe burnout. It's the collapse response to all of the constant maths you have to do, and constant checking, and constant controlling of yourself, constant being a pancreas for yourself.
Well, that is it. That is our job as people with type 1 diabetes. We are asked to be the pancreas that has since failed us. Now, it was a hospital in Plymouth which has begun a pilot program to attempt to help people who are suffering with diabetes burnout. Now, this is the first time it's happened in England, and it's a final recognition, I think, that this condition has a huge impact on someone's mental health, and that then can often impact on the way that they treat their condition.
Oh, absolutely. As I said before, it's a traumatic event. Being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes is a trauma. It's a period of grief. And it absolutely has always affected my mental health. And it's so nice that it's finally been recognised. And I've never, throughout my whole 31 years of being type 1 diabetic, I've never ever been asked how my mental health is. But finally, we're at the stage where that is a question that you get asked, and there is help there.
And I think it's not so. In Naomi's case, the lady who spoke to the BBC, it was quite a severe case. Obviously, that was one of the cases that needed intervention. But it's something that a lot of us will suffer with or experience regularly throughout our lives. It's not like it's a one-time thing. It's not like you get chickenpox once and then you never have it again. These pressures that build up can return to you, and I think that can maybe colour how you then interact with your treatment. So the first instance of diabetes burnout, the way that that's tackled is almost the most important thing, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. If it's brushed to one side, you're not going to reach out next time you need help, are you? If it's not dealt with properly, you're not going to ask for help in future. So yeah, it is really important. You're absolutely right, Jamie.
Yeah, just going to say hi to everyone that's rejoined the stream. We've got David Stevens, who I think you and I both know very well.
David!
He says, "Hey Jade and Jamie, hope you're doing well." Look, I think I can do something cool with this comment. If I can, does it appear on the screen? There it is. There we go. There's David's comment. Hey, Jane and Jamie. Hope you are doing great. We're doing fine. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Now, what we were talking about there, this pilot project to help tackle diabetes burnout is one of two happening in NHS England trusts. And this one in particular is happening at the Royal Bournemouth Hospital and has already helped the two pilot schemes, 70 people so far. Now, with 400,000 people living with type 1 diabetes in the UK, I'm sure there's a lot more to go. And if you've had your own experience of diabetes burnout that you'd like to share, then I'd be really interested in speaking to you for an upcoming podcast episode of mine. So if you're interested, then either find me here on Haps or wherever you're watching this on my social media accounts, DM me there, or if you want to just email hello@jamielowe.co. Now, sticking with NHS England, because they have they continued their scheme to give continuous glucose monitoring to pregnant women with type 1 diabetes after the initial rollout was delayed by the pandemic. Now, obviously, there's a battle, a war waging on between people with diabetes and the people that control the amount of money that's spent in the NHS and how that's spent on tech. But obviously, that's a huge step forward. And
massive.
And obviously, I will never experience pregnancy or living with type 1 diabetes, but I'm sure from what I know of pregnancy, having, I was very small when my mum was pregnant with my brothers, but knowing the different effects on your body, that type 1 diabetes is, just another thing to throw in the mix. And, other people's experience with pregnancy can be different. So this is obviously going to take a load off expectant mothers' shoulders, isn't it?
Definitely. It would, if it was something that was on offer before I adopted my kids. When I'd say it would have had to have been on offer years ago for me to have considered it, because I already I'd set my mind it was going to be very difficult to have a baby if I were with type 1 diabetes. So I decided from quite a young age that I was going to adopt. But if this had been something that had been available sooner, that may have been a different story for me, because it is. Absolutely. The research has shown, hasn't it, that it's the healthier the babies are healthier, the pregnancy is easier, and of course it is with that technology. And I'm lucky enough to have that technology anyway on the NHS. But the fact that it's been rolled out for all pregnant ladies to get the CGM, that is just brilliant. And I loved it, my Dexcom. Honestly, I think it's my favorite bit of tech. Don't tell Omnipod, I shouldn't have said that. I love my Omnipod too. But it's a life-saving bit of equipment. I think it wakes me up when I need it. So I think it's absolutely very exciting and a massive step forward. And hopefully this is a step towards everyone being able to get CGMs on prescription from the NHS. I think it's a step in the right direction.
Absolutely. Now, it is, like Jade was saying, a significant milestone on the journey towards greater tech access for people living with type 1 diabetes. And this particular one, as probably you and I, Jade, will know, it was made possible thanks to some JDRF research. Now, for a long time, CGM technology has been unavailable on the NHS for most people living with type 1 diabetes, including pregnant women. You really have to work hard to get funding, to get your CGMs prescribed to you. You have to show a case for it. But in 2017, JDRF funded research found, like Jade said, that both mother and baby were significantly benefited during pregnancy by the introduction of a CGM. And what that means, like Jade says, is an easier pregnancy and better outcomes and a better experience, because, although it can be quite a hard experience, it can be quite a nice and fulfilling experience too for a lot of mothers, and it would be not nice if constant hypos or hypers were putting undue stress on mother and the baby. Now, this change will currently only apply to women in England, but the Scottish Health Technologies Group has recommended that the NHS in Scotland should follow suit. Now, the trial that JDRF funded was called Concept, and it was that trial that produced that evidence. And then what JDRF had to do then was take that evidence to the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence advisory board, which is the NICE board, which is the people that decide what insulin pumps we have and all that sort of stuff. And then NICE subsequently added it to its pregnancy guidelines, and now it's back up and running after a break from put in place by the pandemic, caused by the pandemic. So good news all round, and a step in the right direction, because maybe I will be able to get a CGM soon too. But
on that note, Jamie,
can
I just say something? JDRF, obviously, we were just talking about them because they funded the research, but they've got a virtual event tomorrow,
yes,
a free virtual event to do with technology. So go ahead to JDRF's channels, check that out, and register and join that tomorrow if you can, please.
I've literally, so on my Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook page, I've just literally posted a link where you can register. So,
I have to.
Oh, fantastic. So literally, wherever you're watching this, my channels or Jade's channels, you'll be able to find a link where you can register for that event. Lots of discussion topics. And we'll return to that later on, because I'll bring up what people are actually talking about, and we can discuss that a little more. But away from the UK now and across the pond, and Amazon is now delivering insulin to people's doors. Now, this is something that I've had for quite a while. Do you use like a service from like Pharmacy to You or something like that?
No, I go to the chemist. I just went and picked it up yesterday.
Do you? I get mine delivered to my door for free through Pharmacy to You, and I think the Co-op do it too. And because we're exempt from prescription charges, then that's who the delivery. The delivery is free too. But I mean, this has been a massive disruptor in the pharmaceutical space in the US. So immediately after the announcement, stocks of CVS Health Corp and Walgreens and Rite Aid all tumbled. Now, the reason why I think this is good, and I'm a bit, I'm not the first person to enthusiastically throw my support behind Amazon, because I think the sort of a monopoly, I'm going to say it, which is growing there, is quite worrying to a lot of people. Its convenience is literally, it's eroding away a lot of businesses, especially now in this pandemic. Now, I don't know if there are many mom and pop, as they would call it, pharmacies in the United States. There definitely isn't in the UK. But the reason why I think this is going to draw a lot of people to it, one is the convenience, and secondly is the discount that people can get on branded and name brand drugs. So if you've got a Prime account, you can get a discount, which, I mean, let's talk about this now. The price of insulin in the United States is astronomical and disgusting.
Oh my God, that was the word I was about to use. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. But I just think it's vile the way they priced insulin, and it's inhumane. I feel really strongly about it, and I'm actually loving this news story, like absolutely loving the fact that Amazon are doing this. I know it's a bit scary, the Amazon monopoly, as you say, but I tell you what, I use Amazon so much, and I do kind of love it. But one thing I will say, having just said really nice things about it, is it's a nightmare to sell stuff on there if you're an independent seller. I've tried to sell my stuff on there and it's a nightmare. So something just to counteract that positive thing I said. But no, honestly, I think this is exciting. I think it's really exciting. I think the fact that Amazon doing this is it's gonna the pharmaceutical companies surely are gonna have to drive down the prices. They've got to.
Well,
I'm just
I mean, it is the pharmaceutical companies that have raised insulin to really awful price levels that a lot, I've spoken about it before. Insulin rationing is been a real problem in the United States because of the fact that people can't afford it, people can't get hold of it. And if I had to personally pay out of pocket for my insulin, I'm not sure I would be able to have healthcare if I lived in the United States. So that would be a real problem for me. I'm just trying to get on to the American Amazon site, Amazon.com,
so
maybe.
Look at it
and just see how, because it might just default put me to, okay, here we go. So I'm on the Amazon website right now. Insulin, or maybe I have to go to right. So insulin syringes. Okay, so these maybe I have to go on something different for Amazon, because it's an app, isn't it? So I'm not sure if it shows online. Amazon Pharmacy.
Oh, is it? Right.
Amazon.com pharmacy. Okay, here we go. This might work. Insulin. Okay, so it isn't actually giving me a price, unfortunately.
How annoying! I wanted to know how much it was.
Yeah, no prices on here.
My dad lives over the pond, so my dad lives in America. So maybe I can get him
to report back.
Yeah, and then I'll share it on my socials. I'll get him to see if he can see from his end how much it's going for on Amazon. Cool. Definitely, and it's something we've talked about. Like, we would like to move to America as a family, but we always say we just can't, because I couldn't afford to be diabetic in America.
Same, and that's why, because there's a lot of travel involved. Well, pre-COVID, there was a lot of travel involved in my work, and hopefully we'll return soon, and a personal announcement on that to come. But I feel like I could only ever live in the UK and work abroad in segments, because the medical exemption, the dependency on the NHS is, it's massive. It's massive in my life. And I'm not sure I could give up my citizenship. I'm not sure I'd especially want to, but it's always nice to have the option, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. It would be nice if we could. I wish kind of Obama had been in office longer and had managed to get Obamacare in place, and then maybe it would have rolled out further than, but it didn't happen, unfortunately.
Well, one of the advocates for type 1 diabetes in the States, Joe or Nick? Nick Jonas, that's the one.
Nick Jonas, yeah,
is doing quite a lot of good work on making it a politicized issue. It's not just a health issue. It literally is a political issue, and should be seen as such. Now, the month just past, November, is widely regarded as Blue November and contains World Diabetes Day. And Jed, I just wanted you to help me touch on how people were marking it over the previous month, because we celebrate World Diabetes Day within November, because that was Frederick Banton's birthday, who was, literally him and a couple of other people discovered, synthesized, and made insulin available and produced it. And there's a story that I always remember being told, was that diabetes before the discovery and manufacturing of insulin was a death sentence. And you died as a child with type 1 diabetes. If you got it as a child, you died as a child. So there were wards where children were literally just being facilitated a comfortable exit to life. And in that ward, when he arrived with the first batches of insulin, he injected kids at one end, and by the time he'd finished injecting them, at the other end of the ward, the first kids were starting to wake up out of their coma. And that's it. I often think about you can't think what life would have been like without insulin, because it isn't there. No. Life doesn't exist without insulin. But I often think about what would have happened if I was diagnosed or born before 1921. But that's why we're also passionate about November and the 14th. So Jade, what did you see people doing to mark World Diabetes Day and Blue November?
I did see a lot of painted nails. That was the Diabetes UK campaign, wasn't it? The painted nails.
Yes.
I saw lots of blue nails, and some people were very talented and had done some lovely artwork on them as well, and written very neatly on the nails. I saw lots of that. Did you watch the JDRF thing it was on the 12th? It was the
No, I didn't. I missed that. I was busy. I was working in the studio. I missed that.
I did a little video for that as well. So I watched that. That was great. I read Daisy Donald for the first time live. I've never read it. I've never done a reading of Daisy Donald. So I thought it's her first birthday because she was released on World Diabetes Day 2019. So I did a reading of that. But yeah, there was lots of live chats going on. I think I saw Chris Bright doing some stuff, and it was just nice to see people talking about it. It's nice to see some new celebrity faces involved as well. Especially, is it Marcel? Is it Somerville?
Yes, Marcel Somerville, the Love Island cast member. He was doing a lot with Quinn as well. He's basically been speaking in the press about his diagnosis. I think he was diagnosed in the summer, wasn't he?
Yeah, just during lockdown. Yeah. I've just got to point out, David. I've just seen that David he's posting that there's some sort of petition about the cost of insulin on Amazon. He's trying to send a link. So that sounds interesting. But yeah, no, World Diabetes Day. I feel really honoured to be friends with Rebecca Redmond, who is. Hang on, let me get this right. She is Frederick Banting's. What is she? Second cousin, third cousin, something like that. She lives in Canada, and she's told me so much about Frederick Banting. I've learned a lot more from her about him than I'd ever actually read, and I'd love to go to Canada and go to the museum. But no, November. It's always nice to see all the stuff happening on social media. Did you see anything that you really liked?
Well, it was Rebecca Redmond who literally posted every single day. She was posting about content creators, about podcasts, about products that other people made. And the consistent posting. I mean, I've had since sort of changing up my working situation, I've had some incredibly busy months. And this month is going to get even more busy as we head towards Christmas. So I wasn't able to participate much this year, but other than releasing a podcast. But I liked that I didn't feel like I had to. I liked that there was enough out there. Just returning to the Amazon insulin story, just thanks to David, who's watching along and commenting. So thank you, David, for your interaction today. So a vial of Novolog insulin on Amazon Pharmacy, according to this change.org page, costs $488.30 per vial, while the average cost per vial ranges from $250 to $380 per Novolog vial, both without insurance. So even with the 40% discount which Amazon offers, a vial of Novolog insulin from Amazon Pharmacy would still set you back $292.
Wow.
$292.
Ludicrous. That's awful.
I've just posted in the chat for anyone that's watching. Is that private? I posted it on private. Sorry. It's bringing it up in French. I'm not sure why. So signer la petition is sign the petition. That's what that means. Hang on. Haps isn't letting me post it. But okay, so there you go. I think you might have to copy and paste that into your browser window. But if you would like to affect change in the price of insulin, or attempt to at least, because what do surveys do, eh? But it's something, isn't it? Then that will hopefully be appearing in the comments soon, as long as the link sort of renders itself in the comment. I'll make sure that post. But thank you, David, there it is. So sign the petition there. It's in English now. And thank you very much, David, for making us aware of that, because $292 is a 40% discount, but it's still way too much to be paying for a drug that you literally need to survive.
You'd have to stop eating carbs altogether, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, you'd have to stop doing something. Maybe, sell a kidney to make up for your pancreas's. Oh, did it not post again? Oh no, it's definitely posted.
It's definitely posted. I can see it. Oh, it's just me. It's just me, guys. Don't know what's going on. Where's Jamie gone? Well, I was going to say that.
Hi.
There, he's back. I was going to say that the other alternative, in terms of being able to afford insulin, is the sad thing that we keep reading. We keep reading about people dying because they can't afford insulin. I mean, 200 and I can't believe that's a 40% discount.
$292, yeah.
It's awful. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. It's inhumane. Yeah.
And it's worth saying that Sir Frederick Banting didn't.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Didn't get a patent for his discovery. He made it freely available for everyone. And the actual cost in developing insulin is around $3 to $7, as that change.org website page showed. So there's no real reason, really, is there, for it to cost that amount of money.
It's pure greed on behalf of the pharmaceutical companies, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, hi to Brett Walker and to Daniel Goff, who is watching, and hi to Drew and everybody else too. Thank you so much for joining us. And we're now going to move on to our final story, which could be a very exciting story indeed. Canadian scientists say that they have found a potential cure for diabetes. A team of researchers from the University of Alberta say their approach has been successful in reversing the condition in mice, and now they are hoping that it will translate into humans. A team led by Dr. James Shapiro has been able to consistently reverse diabetes in mice using a process that involves the patient's own blood and turning that into insulin-producing islet cells. So speaking to a Canadian news network, James Shapiro said, we're at the point where we can reliably manufacture insulin-producing cells from patients' bloods who are type 1 or type 2 diabetic. And they have been doing that now for the last few months in the lab. So this is obviously an incredible development. So if these mice are cured, that means we could be next.
Yeah, you know what, Jamie? I said before, I'm an optimist. But I just feel a bit pessimistic about this. I just feel like it can't be real. And I think that's because it's been 31 years of them working to find a cure, and it always being a certain amount of years off, and then it never happens. So maybe I just don't want to get my hopes up too much, I think I don't want to get my hopes up because I don't want to be disappointed. What do you think?
I mean, I had a comment on my YouTube video that I did about this, and someone said that we are too valuable to pharmaceutical companies. So the likelihood of this getting to market and actually curing every diabetic in the world is not likely, which obviously with what we've been talking about, without, putting our conspiracy theory hats on too much, is something that I think we should consider, but it's definitely positive. Now, this is something that this particular scientist has done before. He's found a sort of treatment, a relative cure, let's say, where he 20 years ago used sort of islet cells from organ donors. However, the cells would often be rejected, and you'd need powerful anti-rejection medication, which the side effects sort of outweighed any benefits. But this new stem cell process eliminates that. But, there's much more research before this can be made widely available. But I mean, I remember hearing a story of a similar process in Israel. I think Israeli scientists, I think it was something to do with donor cells from pigs, which achieved the same issue. Do you remember something about that, Jade, or is that just me?
Actually, Jamie, I don't. Doesn't mean it didn't happen though.
Yeah, I definitely remember something like that. Recently, it was a potential diabetes cure. But obviously this, if it's a stem cell and it doesn't need sort of anti-rejection drugs, then it's probably the most viable treatment for this sort of cure. Colin White says, if it's real, the diabetes cure is very exciting news. And I think David is 100% agreeing to the fact that this maybe isn't in the benefit of pharmaceutical companies. But I don't know, what do people in the comments think? Do you reckon this is something that will be absolutely something that we can expect to see in the future? Or are you slightly pessimistic like Jade and myself? Let us know in the comments box below. But Jade, let's return to the event tomorrow that Diabetes are doing. It's a JDRF. Sorry, that JDRF are doing.
Yeah.
It's a fusion event which generally talks about tech. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a tech event. So let me just I don't want to like misquote anything. So give me I'm just getting it up on my phone so that I get it completely right. But yeah, it's about technology. And I think it starts at about 10 o'clock in the morning. It's completely free to register to. Here we go. Right. Here we go. So it's called JDRF Fusion. It's a free online event, type 1 diabetes technology and devices for experienced users. So it starts at 10 a.m. and I've shared it on my socials. You've shared it on your socials. So people should head to Jamie Lowe TV and head to Pricks Official, and you'll find the link to it. But it's a free event, and it's purely to talk about technology. And I think it's really for people that already have the technology. But it looks exciting. It looks like it's something interesting to do. We ain't got much going on at the moment, have we?
Well, just a couple of the speakers. So we've got Ben Smith from MDI to insulin pump. We've got Tim Street talking about looping, which is where you sort of make your own sort of artificial pancreas. And we've got Conor McKeever talking about research, and who else? We've got Nerdabetic as well, who is a very popular diabetes content creator, talking about his personal experience of managing apps. So if you are interested in that and more, then register using the link, which I will post in the chat, I think,
that's a good idea,
to help you get there quicker. But Jade, just to wrap things up then, because we are approaching 7 o'clock, so nearly out of time. You have been fairly busy over the pandemic with making Pricks sort of online and interactive for the first time ever, haven't you?
Yeah, I did a live show in this very place where I'm sat right now. I'm at the dining table. My dining table's here right now. I had to put the dining table in the garden when I did the live show because I have my Pricks set here. But yeah, I did a live online show to raise money for JDRF, because that's what panicked me, was the fact that charities that are medical related charities, they're not getting any support from the government. They've not had any support throughout the whole lockdown COVID situation.
They did have the furlough. They had the furlough, but I mean, that's
but what I mean
was
not money
for research.
The grants. They couldn't get the grants that businesses could get. So I panicked because I had 3 UK tours cancelled, and I would normally make. When I do a show, people are so generous after the show. The amount of £20 notes that get put in the bucket after they've seen Pricks is ridiculous. So I thought, well, there's a lot of money that I'm not going to make for them that I normally do. So I thought, do an online show, made over £2,000. It was great.
Wow, that's great.
But I do feel like I'm really missing it now. I got to the point, a bit like with diabetes, like sometimes you have a bit of burnout. Well, because I wasn't doing it, I feel like I had a little bit of Pricks burnout. Not because I was doing it, because I wasn't, which is random. It was more like, but now I need to, I've got myself back on the right track. Theatres are rebooking it for 2021. So hopefully back on the road with that. But yeah, I try to keep myself busy. I do.
And are you planning to head to the southwest of England?
Yes. Bristol you're in, aren't you?
Yes.
Where am I? I think the closest I am to you again might be Cheltenham.
Oh, that's close enough. I'll be there.
Is it? Okay, great. I've done Cheltenham twice already. But yes, and I think it was sold out actually, Cheltenham. So yeah, you might need to get booked booking fast.
Well, send me the link, and we'll do lots of promo about it.
I think that's the closest to you. I'm trying to remember.
Well, it's only up the road, so I can definitely get to Cheltenham. So just want to run through some comments. So Gemma Davison says, "Yep." Oh no, I've tried. Oh no. No, what I want to do is this one. I want everyone to see it. So Gemma Davison says, Maxwell, type 1H8, tells people that he might get a pig implant in his leg. That's the story. So what it was is, I can't remember it completely, but it was a transplant of something into the leg, which was a similar sort of thing. But it sounds like this Canadian version of that is maybe a more sustainable one. Daniel Goff says, definitely a cure. Yes, it does sound like it would be a very viable cure, but whether that will get to market, who knows? Nerdabetic says, big love. David Stevens says big love to Nerdabetic. So that is about it. Thank you, everyone. Oh, no, there's one more. There's one more that I want to show. David Stevens says, well done, Jade. We need you in Wales.
I should have been there in September. I should have been in Wales. But never mind. I will be in Wales. I promise you, David. Promise you.
Okay, we've got a few more minutes left, Jade. So why don't you do a little bit of plugging for yourself? You're wearing one of your products.
I mean, every opportunity is a marketing opportunity.
Yes, absolutely. Go for it.
Yeah, Pricks Products is my Etsy shop, and we've got loads of new products. And you know what I've got? I've got Christmas cards. I've got type 1 diabetes related Christmas cards. So if you've got any type 1 friends or family, please buy some cards from my shop because I think they're really funny. But I've got all sorts now. I've got prints, I've got lots of kids' hoodies and t-shirts, more bags. There's loads and loads of products there. So yeah, head along, and we're about to do some bundle deals where you can buy, I think they're going live next week, where you can buy a hoodie, a t-shirt and a bag so yeah, keep an eye on them for Christmas. But yeah, that's what basically I can't do my show at the moment, so I can't make any money from acting really at the moment. So I've been trying to make money from selling my merchandise instead. So please help support that and head to Pricks Products on Etsy. But yeah, and give me a follow, everyone, please, on all social media. I'm at Pricks Official. Give me a follow on there, and thank you.
Lovely stuff. Well, Jade, it's been fun. We should do this again. I think Haps enjoyed you, and I enjoyed speaking to you too. So you'll see me and Jade popping up again in the future to talk about, who knows, maybe not just diabetes things, maybe other stuff too. But if you'd like to get involved and become your own Haps reporter, then all you have to do is go to haps.tv. It's a really easy process. Download the app to your smartphone or device, and you can literally begin broadcasting across your social media platforms and the Haps platform in an instant. But that is all from me and Jade. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all your comments and interaction tonight. It's been great to have your company. Jade, been great to speak to you too. Let's do this again sometime. And that is it. Jade and Jamie out. Bye-bye.
Thank you.